What's going on, guys? Motonosity here, and today I've got a first ride on a Harley Davidson Iron 883. This is a special first ride because this is my first ever ride on a Harley Davidson. Never, I can't believe it. How long I've been riding? 8 years? 9 years I've been riding, and I have never ridden a Harley Davidson. I'm honestly kind of surprised that I've never ridden one, but here we are. This is going to be my first experience. This is the 883. I don't know a lot about Harleys, but I do know that this is the cheapest Harley that you can buy. It's the only one, maybe one of two, that you can snag for under $10,000. I think this one is either $9,000 or $10,000. Again, I do not know anything about the Harley line. There's so many different ones, and I cannot navigate my way around all of them. I don't know the differences. You got fat glides and road bobs and low tails, and I don't know. There's a lot of them. I don't know what all of them are, and I don't know the differences. All I know is that I've never ridden one. I actually really don't have a lot of experience on any sort of like cruiser-oriented bike. I've ridden a few Goldwings, and the bike that I learned on, that I did my MSF course on, was some like 125cc cruiser-styled like old Honda. But other than that, no, it's pretty much all sport bikes and supermotos for me. So here we are, and I'm gonna have my first experience. Now, technically, I've already started the bike and ridden it to the location that we are here at right now, but I just putzed along. I didn't do anything crazy, didn't barely touch the throttle, and tried not to lean over a whole lot. So my experience today is basically like the first ride equivalent of just the tip. We have a lot to go. I do like how the bike looks. I'm not gonna lie, I like how it looks, but you will notice there's a little bit of damage right here, right here. This is broken, so no rear brake today, but this was not my fault. The bike only has 100 miles, but it was not my fault. We'll talk a little bit about it after we get going. Let's go ahead and start it up. I do like the sound. I'm not a huge fan of the Harley sound, but you know, once you're actually on the bike, you're starting it up. Again, this is just an 883, but you still get kind of the Harley sound experience. Let's go start it up. You do get the shake. I haven't owned a bike that shakes when you're just sitting. Okay, I take that back. My Ruckus with the GY6, the cam we got in there, the scooter shakes a little bit. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say today is just, you're just going to be shaking your head at. And that just comes with the territory riding a bike that I've never ridden before, or a type of bike that I never ridden before. As you'll notice, I wore the most Harley rider style gear that I could wear. All right, first crank of the throttle. It is not fast. It is not fast. I was expecting a little bit more. I honestly was. I was actually kind of thinking the Ducati Scrambler, obviously completely different bike, but the Ducati Scrambler that I rode was also around 800 to 900 cc's, and that one was quick. Again, completely different bikes. It's a very, very bad comparison, but I was expecting a little bit more. Today is very, very windy, so I apologize if you can't hear very well. If you want to see my first rides on Goldwings, I'll link those videos down in the description so you can kind of get my experience on those. I'm a huge Goldwing fan. Love them. Very, very nice bikes, and I would gladly own one. But never been a fan of Harley. Just not my cup of tea. But I do like riding bikes that I've never ridden before. I like to keep an open mind. I gotta say, you feel a certain kind of swagger when you're riding a Harley and you're sitting in this position. I got my Chuck Taylors on, so I'm that kind of Harley rider. I'm on my way to Motivation's new headquarters. They moved shop not too long ago, and I still haven't made it out there. So the seat on this thing is quite plush, but the way that the back of the seat, so it's got like a little backing like you would have on a chair, but it's very low, and like the height that it comes up to is like right at the bottom of my tailbone, and it kind of just like digs into it, which isn't the greatest feeling. I honestly think that I would get more uncomfortable riding this, or get uncomfortable riding this faster than I would on one of my sport bikes. The seating is great, like the position. I am kind of laid back ever so slightly, not like completely upright, but a little bit back. It kind of feels like my Supermoto, except on my Supermoto I'm more slightly forward than slightly back. Nice natural position. but it feels like the way the seat is, and again, this just comes with the type of bike you're riding. It's like forcing my body into a C shape, so like completely out of good posture. It just makes it really uncomfortable after you've been sitting in it for a while. Downshift. Downshift. But those are heavy. Why is it so slow? So that was second gear pull. And barely had any pickup. Now I'm not going to really speak to the reliability of Harleys because I don't have any personal experience, and anything I've heard is just anecdotal. But I think a valid criticism of Harley is the price. So you got your street category, which is like the under 10,000. Then you got your cruisers, which are in like the $10,000 to $20,000 range, and then you have your touring bikes, which are in the $20,000 to $44,000. And I know that's coming from someone who rides sport bikes, and you got Ducati selling bikes that are what, $180,000 to $100,000. But let's compare apples to apples. You look at the top of the line Goldwing versus the top of the line Harley, and you're going to spend significantly less on the Goldwing. Now, I've mentioned it in videos before, when you buy a Harley, you're not necessarily buying it because it's the absolute best in its category. You're buying it because it's a Harley, and there is something special about it. Wow, that was redline. That felt like 6,500 RPM. It is kind of fun throwing this thing around. I don't really want to spend too much time comparing things because, again, I don't have a whole lot of experience on these types of bikes. Now, one of the guys that I watch on YouTube, Blockhead, he's a smart guy and he keeps buying Harleys, so there's got to be something to it. There's got to be some good value there. I do like this paint though. It's got a nice finish. Of course, we've got this chipped section right here. Alright, so let me tell you the backstory on why this thing was wrecked. By the way, the shifting on this bike, it's very clunky. The most clunky shifting that I've ever felt on a motorcycle. I got a sense that some people would really like the way it feels, but I do not at all. So I'm borrowing this bike from my friend Dustin, and it's actually his stepdad's bike. And his stepdad was a brand new rider, went out and bought a brand new Harley and wrecked it. His first ride out. No experience, no license, went out, bought a brand new motorcycle and wrecked it. And I've heard a lot of people do this. I do not understand it. I always preach, when you first get your motorcycle license, which you should do before you buy a motorcycle, you should always buy something cheap and used in the category of motorcycles that you think you might like. Buy it in the wintertime, you'll get a great deal. Spend a year and a half with it, or at least 6 months. If you think you got a good enough experience with it that you can gauge what kind of motorcycle you would want, and you got enough initial riding experience to develop your skills, then you can sell it that first summer and you'll probably make a profit. But that gives you the opportunity to learn and develop your riding skills without wrecking a brand new motorcycle or losing a ton of depreciating value on a bike that you decide you don't actually like. It's just a nice, reliable way to dip your feet into motorcycles without a whole lot of upfront cost. But anyways, so his stepdad wrecks this bike, and then I guess his mom is just like wants the motorcycle out of his house. I'm not going to get into the family dynamic, but long story short, Dustin picks up the bike, and he's been hanging on to it, and he's ridden it a little bit. But yeah, we only got 128 miles on here now. That acceleration is just very strange. Like it feels like it's being held back in some way. I do like the GoPro checkers. Those look nice. It's a solid bike. To the right person, I think this would be a good bike. At around $9,000 or $10,000, it's not like crazy price. If you like the Harley name, it fits the bill. And I like the fact that the exhaust doesn't look like absolute garbage from the factory. Sportbike's gotta figure something out with that. They're just doing themselves all kinds of disservice with how they design those exhausts. Gotta say, this seat is not comfortable at all, and it really just has to do with how you like the position that you sit in and where the pressure is. Somebody's Jeep broke down. Alrighty, howdy motivation. I'll catch up with you guys afterwards. Found this cool little pull out right here on this back road that I found. Filmed the cinematics for the beginning of the video, and we can finish up this first ride. Oh yeah, I was talking with Nate when I was at Motivation. He said he used to have a Harley, and he was talking about how just like the brakes on them are so bad. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about the brakes because I could never get up to speed because it's so freaking slow. They don't feel terrible. They're not like super outstanding brakes, but they're not bad. I think the biggest things for me are just that it feels really, really slow, and the seat is just not the most comfortable thing. I'm sure there's better seat options, and I'd like to ride some other Harleys just to get a feel for, you know, what they are in general. Because like I said, this is the cheapest Harley that you can buy, brand new. And I can't really judge all Harleys by the cheapest one that they make. Let me ride a few of the other ones, then I'll judge them. I feel like that's fair. I actually think Dustin has another Harley in his garage right now for whatever reason. Maybe he'll let me ride it. I don't know what model it is, and I don't know how old it is. But let me know what you guys think of this bike. Let me know what you guys can tell me about it. If there's something obvious that I'm missing, let me know if there's a specific model that you guys want to see me go ride, or any other bike that you guys want to see me test out. I don't really give ratings or anything like that in these first rides that I do, but I can say, is it something that I would buy? And this one's a no from me. I can see why some people would want it. I don't hate it, but it really isn't doing much for me. It doesn't spark any joy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you're not subbed already, and turn on post notifications so you guys get notified of all the videos that I bring out. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, at Motonosity, all across the web. You guys have been awesome. I've been Motonosity. Remember, life's better with horsepower. Keep life lived. I will see you guys in the next one.